Swadika, very good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. I'm Nabunag and we'll begin tonight with some developments on the COVID-19 vaccine donations. And this morning, 2 million doses of Pfizer vaccines have arrived in Thailand from the United States. And it is also in time for the mass vaccinations for students, which is expected to commence next week. Public Health Minister Anutin Chanvirakul, who was at Suvarnabhumi International Airport this morning to observe the arrival, told the media that this batch is part of the 13 million doses ordered by the Thai government for this year, with 6 million more doses to arrive in October on a weekly basis. The Pfizer vaccine will be administered to up to 5 million youngsters aged from 12 to 18. The minister insisted that 13 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine will be more than enough for Thai students, with the remainder to be administered to other groups, especially as booster shots. The Department of Medical Sciences and the Thai Food and Drug Administration will inspect this lot of vaccine, after which it will be distributed to designated units across the country, with inoculations to commence next week. Anutin also stressed that for now, those aged 12 to 18 will be given only the Pfizer vaccine, while other vaccines are still pending the approval of the TFDA. And regarding the vaccination plan, Anutin said that the Ministry of Public Health will put into practice every mix and match approach, whether it's the Sinovac followed by AstraZeneca vaccine for the second jab, or the AstraZeneca for the first jab followed by Pfizer as the second, or it could be 2 Sinovac jabs followed by a third booster shot of AstraZeneca or Pfizer, which they say that this method will generate high antibody levels. He went on to say that the Public Health Ministry has been trying to negotiate discounts for Pfizer vaccine, and next year, Thailand will procure all vaccine makes, including the protein unit-based vaccines, which are now being developed. And with the overview of vaccines, a total of 71 million vaccine doses are scheduled to arrive in Thailand during the fourth quarter of this year, with 24 million alone in October, and most of them will be AstraZeneca vaccines. And at the same time, currently, around 27% of the entire population are fully vaccinated. So we can see that the government has been trying really hard to procure more vaccines, as well as speeding up the mass inoculations as well. And we just talked about the vaccines and the mass inoculations. Now let's talk about the reopening of schools, which is expected to start around this November. And to reopen safely, one of the guidelines is that at least 85% of the teachers must be fully vaccinated first. And the Ministry of Education has announced the guidelines for the reopening of schools, where 85% of teachers must be fully vaccinated first, and schools can conduct both on-site and online classes with no more than 25 students in one physical classroom, and they must remain at least 1.5 meters apart. Permanent Secretary of the Education Ministry, Supat Jampathong, announced the guidelines for the new school semester, which is scheduled to start this November. And apart from the fact that 85% of the teachers must be fully vaccinated, students and parents are also advised to get inoculated in accordance with the guidelines set by the Ministries of Education and Public Health. And so far, the Education Ministry has been preparing for the mass inoculation of millions of students aged 12 to 18 before the new school term starts. And it has been reported that the inoculations will start on October 4th, and the second dose will be administered 3 weeks later. And as we're all aware, all schools in Thailand have been closed since the first semester of the academic year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. And although online learning has been introduced and implemented across the country in many schools, the system has come under fire from many sides, as many students in low-income families do not have the required tools such as computers, laptops, smartphones, or even a stable internet connection, and the quality of online teaching is also being questioned as well. Well, speaking of the vaccinations among students, apart from the government, we previously reported that the Julapon Royal Academy has been inoculating students with Sinopharm. However, the use of Sinopharm in students is not really approved by the TFDA yet, but this is only part of the CRA's research on the side effects among those students. So we can see that the government as well as other authorities have been trying really hard to get these students inoculated before the school term starts in November so that they can actually resume their normal lives and go back to school. So apart from the government, the CRA or the Julapon Royal Academy previously conducted inoculations of students using the Sinopharm vaccine from China. However, the use in students is not approved by the TFDA yet, but what the CRA said is that this is only part of their research into the side effects among these children. So we can see that the government and related authorities have been trying really hard to get these students vaccinated as much as possible so that they can resume their normal lives as well as go back to school as well. And another story that we think is interesting as well, the cabinet has approved the new excise tax structure for cigarettes, which may increase the cigarette tax by 6 to 8 baht. However, the excise department will reveal more details about this Thursday. The cabinet has approved the new excise tax structure for cigarettes, which may increase the price of one pack by 6 to 8 baht. And the excise department will release more details this Thursday around 4 p.m. after the new rate is published in the Royal Gazette. And currently, 20% tax is applied to cigarettes priced at 60 baht per pack of 20. However, the new rate will be 25%, but no more than 40. The Finance Ministry, which proposed the new excise tax structure for cigarettes, explained that the increase is to help tobacco farmers not to be affected by the tax rate increase, to prevent new smokers, reduce the illegal cigarette trade, and to increase revenue collection. However, it is currently unclear when the new tax rate will come into effect. Meanwhile, it has been reported that the new tax rate may affect the production of cigarettes, with the Tobacco Authority of Thailand expecting the production to reduce from 28 billion cigarettes per year to only 18 billion. So we'll have to wait and see when the new tax rate on cigarettes will become effective. But one thing many people may not be sure about is whether the new tax rate will really prevent people from smoking. Because even with no smoking campaigns and with scary images of the side effects from smoking being pasted on all cigarette packs are not even enough to stop people from smoking. So we'll have to wait and see on the effects on that as well. Moving on to the Thailand floods, as many provinces are still under flood waters, especially in the northeast and some of the central provinces. Recently, the Department of Public Disaster Prevention and Mitigation has issued an urgent warning to the governors of 5 central provinces to brace for possible flooding of households along the Pasak River. And the 5 provinces are Lopburi, Saraburi, Ayutthaya, Pathum Thani, and Nonthaburi. The department said that the Royal Irrigation Department has found it necessary to protect the Pasak Cholasit Reservoir from overflowing by increasing the discharge of excess water to 400 cubic meters per second, after the department had estimated that from Monday until this Friday, as much as 515 million cubic meters of water will flow into the reservoir, meaning it will reach its capacity by then. The excess water discharged through the Pasak Cholasit Dam will flow into the Pasak River and flood areas along both banks, especially in areas not protected by embankments or flood walls in the Tha Reu district of Ayutthaya province, which may experience water level increases of 2 to 2.5 meters. However, the department said that areas beyond Wat Sathu down to the points where the Pasak converges with the Chao Phraya River will not be affected. Meanwhile, the Geoinformatics and Space Technology Development Agency, or GISTA, revealed a satellite image dated yesterday, which shows more than 128 1,000 hectares of mostly low-lying farm and riverside land in 11 provinces underwater. And those provinces are Pichit, Pisanulok, Lopburi, Chainat, Phetchabun, Suphanburi, Uthai Thani, Singhburi, Ang Thong, Saraburi, and Ayutthaya. However, Gista said that most of the water is being diverted to water retention areas. Gista also explains that the diversion of excess water into retention areas is a tactic to delay the flow of water before it is released into the Chao Phraya River and other natural waterways which flow into the Gulf of Thailand. And we'll end the program tonight with a lighter note. Whether you've been to Chiang Mai Zoo or not, you should know who Lin Hui is because she's a very famous panda and is also star of the zoo. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Chiang Mai Zoo held a special birthday celebration for its famous panda Lin Hui as she turns 20 years old today, where the panda was treated with a large birthday cake made with ice, including its favorite foods such as bamboo sticks, apples, and carrots. Officials and visitors were also seen singing happy birthday to the panda, and on this occasion, the director of Chiang Mai Zoo also welcomed the Consul General of the People's Republic of China in Chiang Mai, Wu Zhiwu, to join the celebration as well. Lin Hui has been widely recognized as a star of Chiang Mai Zoo, and the panda was first introduced back in 2003 as a goodwill ambassador for Thailand and China's relations. And in case you don't know about this one, Lin Hui also has a Thai name. Her Thai name is Tewi, and there's also a Lana name for her. Her name is Kam Uy. But I think the name Lin Hui is already cute and memorable anyway. And that's all the news we have for you in this edition of Thai PBS World Tonight. Don't forget to catch us like this every weekday at 7 p.m. And don't forget to follow us on social media as well as our website, thaipbsworld.com, for all the latest updates as well as analyses. Thanks for watching, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. Sawadee ka.